Anchorage, Alaska. Demolition is scheduled to begin this week on a once-opulent downtown Anchorage movie theater designed by the architect of Hollywood's famed Pantages Theater. Anchorage entrepreneur Austin Lathrop opened the 4th Avenue Theater, with nearly 1,000 seats, on May 31, 1947, with a showing of the Jolson Story. But the last movie was shown over 40 years ago, and the building has sat vacant for nearly half the time. Instead, building owners Derek Chang and Terrence Chang said in a statement earlier this year that they will attempt to salvage the impressive artwork inside the building and the iconic 4th Avenue Art Deco neon sign and incorporate them in a new $200 million redevelopment plan for the block that will include housing, office space, a hotel, retail and entertainment venues. The Changs did not respond to messages from the Associated Press. It is a very significant building, architecturally, its association with Lathrop, and as a historic icon in Anchorage itself, said Judith Bittner, the state historic preservation officer. "I think it's a foregone conclusion that this is the end," said Trish Neal, president of the Alaska Association for Historic Preservation. "I think there's people grieving all over the state and beyond," added Sam Combs, a historic preservation architect. "It's going to destroy the historic center of our city." Lathrop was making a substantive statement by beginning construction on the theater in 1941, 2 years after the U. B. Marcus Pritica, a Seattle architect who designed theaters for early theater chain owner Alexander Pantages, including the iconic Hollywood Theater in 1929, was hired to design the new Anchorage movie theater. Work began in 1941, but was paused during World War II. The interior was lush, featuring high-end decor and love seats at the end of alternating rows. Silver and gold murals featuring Alaska scenes by Anthony Heinsbergen and Frank Booman of Los Angeles were featured in the main theater. Twinkling lights illuminated the Big Dipper and North Star constellations on the ceiling. The building was more than just a movie theater. Lathrop's TV and radio stations had their studios there, plus there was room for offices and an attic on the 4th floor. "It was built to last," she said. "They're going to have a challenge taking down some of the concrete." That solid base could be one reason the theater remained standing, while streets and buildings throughout Anchorage collapsed after the magnitude 9. The 4th Avenue Theater's movie projectors went silent in the 1980s, and the building was used as an events venue through the early part of this century. Mike Dunleavy would declare it a state historic site and seek written consent from the owners for the designation. The Alaska Historical Commission urges you and the Alaska Department of Natural Resources to take all action necessary and authorized by the Alaska Constitution and Alaska Historic Preservation Act to ensure that the historic character and value of the 4th Avenue Theater is protected and preserved for future generations, Bittner said in a July 12 letter addressed to Don Levy and obtained by the AP. The governor's office never received the letter from the Historical Commission. Anchorage Mayor Dave Bronson backs the changes for downtown, said a spokesperson Corey Allen Young. The developers have agreed to preserve as much of the artwork as possible and recreate the historical landmark sign on 4th Avenue, he said in an email.